Let's go ahead and jump in and say hello. Am I live? I feel alive. Am I alive? Am I alive, knucklehead dog? Am I alive? I think I'm alive. Hey everybody, it's Mike Meyers with the high contrast. Oh man, this is going to be a hassle all day. Sorry about the weird lighting. I've thought I had this fixed. I just adjusted yet another screen and it's still doing this. What fun. But no big deal. Anyway, welcome aboard. This is the, how's, Tolowit, how do I sound, man? Jared Settle, hey man. Wilshaw Puppy, yep. I got Lola with me today. I got Miss Lola. Go sit down. Go sit down over there, Lola. Sit. Go sit. Dog. Here, see if I can get Lola to say hello. Will you say hello? No, she will not say hello. It's all right. Yeah, anyway, this is my friend Amanda's dog. This is Lola. And Lola is, I'm kind of babysitting a dog. Actually, babysitting two dogs today. So, there you go. There you go. That's Lola. She's a sweetie McSweeterson. She really is a good dog. I'm pretty impressed. Anyway, so let's see who's on today. This is, welcome to the Mike Meyers live stream. The goal of this live stream is to provide those of us who are isolated by the coronavirus an opportunity to continue our studies on CompTIA certifications. We concentrate here on A+, Network Plus, and Security Plus, but we're certainly comfortable going on to lots of other types of certifications, different CompTIA certifications, as well as non-CompTIA certifications as well. So, welcome aboard. I always know to start slow here because it sounds a little hollow. We'll go with it, man. I guess I could turn it up a little bit, but I'm nervous to do that. Anyway, we kind of go slow at first because people take forever to get on here. So I'm going to give a moment. Hey guys, so first of all, this is my contact information. Can you guys give me a test? I'm going to change the screen. Can you guys hear me okay? I'm going to leave this contact screen up for a minute. Jose's got COVID. Ah, sorry, man. What a hassle. Sorry about that, my brother. Anyway, can you guys see? Can you still hear me while this screen is up? Seriously, I need someone to thank Rec3. I appreciate it. There's a buzzing or clicking. Not going to be able to fix it at this point, so we're going live, man. We're going live. Okay, fantastic. Thank you, guys. As you can see, I'm not in the usual studio today. I'm actually at the house. Miss Lola's looking pretty cute over there. You're a dork dog. Yes, I'm talking about you, dog. Yeah, we had to kind of do a little bit of a last-minute switch here, and I'm here in the house. This is actually my home right here, and so welcome to. I've done it in here before, but it's been a while. So welcome to all who are coming. Yes, we're going to be giving away stuff today. Absolutely. Today we're going to be talking about reverse lookup zones. There's not that much to talk about. Well, I always tease people, when you're teaching about technology, there's only you have to have one of four reasons to teach a technology. Number one, is it going to make them a better tech? Number two, is it going to help them pass a certification? Number three is because it's cool, CIC. Sometimes you just need to do something because it's cool. I understand that. RGB lights on a CPU. There's no reason to do that other than because it's cool. And like the 6 people actually make a living doing system builds. Anyway, the fourth reason is sometimes I have to teach people things they don't need to know. Because if I don't teach you something, you're going to get really crabby at me. 3-way versus 4-way set associative RAM caches is the example I always use. But the other example I'm going to use today, honest to Pete, is reverse lookup zones. There's not really any testing done on it on any certifications. It will make you a better tech. So, okay, so we'll go ahead and go with that one too. For the record, Jose, I thought I had corona a few days ago. Sorry, guys. This happens. That's why we do the AMA format. Yes, we're not going to be doing this AMA format too much longer, guys. It's pretty soon we're going to be looking towards something a little more dynamic. So stick around. It's going to be fun. I know I've been teasing people for over a month now, but we're getting there. So what was the last clue I gave you about the big deal that's going to happen? Oh, I remember the last clue I gave you is I said I'm going to need a Mai Tai and a metal detector. So the other clue I'll give you is, you ready for the next clue? What's the big thing happening? Mike Meyers is going to be bouncing his grandsons on his knee a lot more. Man, if you can't figure that out by now, you guys are in trouble. Anyway, so more clues are going to be coming. I'm actually going to be at RSA this year. Hey, if anybody's in the San Francisco area, let me know. I'd love to meet up with you. And so I'll be in San Francisco for RSA, which I believe is June 6th through the 9th. And so me and some other buddies are going to be making a big announcement there. I think they're going to have me talk at something. I don't know. We'll see. I've never been to RSA. That's pretty cool, huh? Steve G. Good Lord. Good to see you, Steve G. All right, man. So let's go ahead and get started here. I want to stall a little bit because it's always so many people take a while to get here. So anyway, first of all, if you want to contact me, my website is www.totalsem.com. My work email is michaelm@totalsem.com, and my personal email is desweds@protonmail. But all honesty, guys, they all kind of come together. When in doubt, just send it to michaelm@totalsem.com, and I guarantee you I will absolutely get that. So no worries there whatsoever. Whoops. Okay, sorry. I just slapped together a new studio real quick to get everybody covered, so apologize for the crazy blips and bleeps here while I'm experimenting with a few things. So this is Ask Mike Anything. So the goal here is you ask me questions and I answer them. The main way you do this is just go ahead and type it into this way for you guys. Type it into the chat window over there, and I've got my buddy Andrew Hutz here helping out. Of course, Dave Rush is not here today, but he's traveling. Everything's okay. So it's just me and Andrew holding the house down today, and so Andrew does a pretty good job. Hey Andrew, I'm looking forward to. I still haven't looked at chapter 27, brother, but I will be doing it very, very shortly. Okay, so first of all, just because you guys are nice enough to show up, I am offering a 50% discount on combinations of ebooks and practice tests. Now, like I tell everybody, if you want to pass a certification exam, not just CompTIA, not just IT, but pretty much any certification, you're always going to need three things. Number one, you're going to need some type of instruction. That can be instructor-led training, that can be a video, but you need some kind of instruction. The second thing you're going to need is reference. I like to use books. People love to use books. It's hilarious. Yeah, I'm selling more books today than I've ever sold in my entire career. Now, granted, almost half of those are ebooks, but people love books, and I just keep hearing it. Audrey O'Shea is on. Audrey, Audrey, I miss you so bad. Audrey, come down to don't come down to Texas now. It's getting hot. I need to come up to New York and see you. But the last thing you need is you have to practice, and the best way you practice is through practice tests. So just because you're nice enough to show up here, we're offering you, let's say you're studying for the Network Plus, we're offering you a combination of a Network Plus ebook plus the Network Plus practice questions, which we here at Total Seminars call the Total Tester. And we offer those two together and at a 50% discount, which is ridiculous because we're already the cheapest out there. And then with that discount, we're just, it's insane, so please check this out. All you have to do is head over to our website. Remember the website, bring it back up there, Mike, so they can find it. The website is www.totalsem.com, and just head over to the merchant area, and then pick whatever you're looking for. You want Network Plus, for example. Get the Network Plus ebook. Don't order the paper book, for crying out loud. Get the ebook, and then get the practice questions. And then, just before you check out, type in the word Enigma, Enigma, in the discount area, and you will get 50% off, which is craziness. Absolute craziness. What's going on here, man? All right, so let's see what's happening here. William Jeske, what is this, Old Home Week today? This is great. Steve G, I'm not going to say what I'm doing. I'm going to have to. I got lots more guesses coming up. Will Shaw, shut your mouth. Who else? Jared. Okay, so I'm going to start looking for some questions there. Now, guys, when you're asking questions, a couple things you might want to keep in mind. Number one, up at the, I got to keep going this way for most people. Up at the top of the chat where it says top chat, I need to turn this off myself. Set that to live chat. That gets rid of the algorithm. And then the other thing is make sure, I got to do this too, make sure you toggle on timestamps. That becomes very handy, especially when we're doing competitions for free stuff. Jared Settle. I'm studying for my A+. This is Jared Settle at 207. Study with your ebook. My question is 3 main differences in DDR. Should I know? What are the 3? Are there 3? I wouldn't say there's 3. When you're talking about any kind of RAM that's on the actual exam, and if they're in my videos, they're on the exam. Number 1, make sure you know what the pinouts are. All right. Number 2, make sure that you can calculate the DDR or PC speeds. Basically, take the DDR speed, multiply it times 8, take the PC speed and divide it by 8. You should be able to do that. You should have a basic understanding of how one improves on the other, okay? And really, that's just about it. You don't, most of the questions that you're going to hit on RAM are more. I do it every time. Why do I get these yawns? It's so crazy. I haven't yawned all day, and the moment I start talking to you guys, maybe it's because I forget to breathe in or something. No, it's super practical stuff. It's like, don't try to put the wrong RAM in the wrong motherboard. It's really basic. So, Jared, those are the only basics you need. I'll never move to Florida, that's for sure. Audrey O'Shea. Hey, Audrey, type something in there. Tell me if you're still there. There it is. Good. So, Audrey O'Shea at 211. My students just tested on A+ and said the total seminar sims helped tremendously. Very good. Thanks, Audrey. Sorry, I mean the key differences between the 3. Okay, hold on. Jose, the discount code is Enigma, E-N-I-G-M-A, as in the Enigma machine. There you go. Andrew Hutt's already got you fixed. Thank you. I love Florida, Jared. I've been there many, many times. I probably know the state I know the best is obviously Texas, but Florida's right behind it. I've been all over. Yeah, I'm sorry, Jared. I don't know why I'm yawning. It's craziness. Anyway, the key differences between the 3. You want me to actually enumerate? I don't even remember the pin structures. I don't remember. DDR2, the speeds are going to say, the DDR speed's going to say DDR2. The PC speed's going to say PC2. DDR3, the DDR speed's going to be DDR3. The PC speed's going to say PC3. And on, so on and so on. The pinouts. Man, somebody help me out here. Does anybody remember all... Jose, hold on. Jared wants us to tell him the 3 different speeds for the 3 different pinouts. Man, it's in the book. I don't have a book on me right here. That's the one thing I forgot. Jared, give it a second. Somebody will tell you what the different number of pins are for, I think it's going to be DDR. I don't think DDR2's on here anymore. It's, no, Don, not the speed. The number of pins. It's 240, 284. God bless it. Jared, I'm not even going to bother answering it because, like, there we go. Andrew Hutz. Thank goodness. Thank you, Andrew. Yeah. DDR2 is 240. DDR3 is also 240. DDR4 is 288. Andrew, I believe the new A+, it includes DDR5. So can somebody get on Google and remember what the pin package is for DDR5? I cannot remember what they are. Those are the big deals. So Jared, that's all you got to think about. Don't make it hard. What gets you more in trouble with RAM is like, trying to put different speeds of RAM into the same motherboard. What's going to happen? It's going to take the speed of the slowest one. What happens if you don't populate a bank? Pretty much all systems today will let you get away with that, although they're going to run much slower. Little things like that. DDR5 is also 288. Thanks, guys. Jared Tolowit, I just forgot. It's like what I tell the IRS every year. I forgot. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and I want to talk about reverse lookup zones. So give me a minute to get everything queued up here. I got a VM running here too. We're actually going to try to. I'm going to try to configure a reverse lookup zone live. We'll see what happens. Plus, I got a mouse that's acting weird on me anyway. All right, so let's talk about DNS reverse lookup zones. Now, before we get into this, what I want to do is make sure we understand DNS forward lookup zones, because DNS forward lookup zones are the main reason we do DNS. So let's take a look here. I got a system right here, all right? And somewhere out in the world is a server somewhere. I always love it when people talk about the cloud like it's something mysterious. Cloud just means somebody else is taking care of the server far away. As far as I'm concerned, the internet's always been a cloud, because we don't care where a computer is physically. We just need a phone number. And for some people, that weirds them out, because you'll see pictures of clouds and all that. Think about a phone number. You could call me on my phone right now. I could be, in Missouri, and I could be in, well, I got to be careful. I guess, yes, I could be overseas. And the phone number would still get to me, right? So, don't panic about that. As long as, you remember, every server has an IP address, right? And that's what we need, is the IP address. So, as we look at this, what I want to do is, I want to get to www.totalsem.com. And that server over here, folks, that is the www.totalsem.com server. Now, there's nothing in that server that says www.totalsem.com. Do you understand that? The only thing it does have is an IP address. And so this is actually the IP address for www.totalsem.com, because I just pinged it. So when you're in a web browser and you type in www.totalsem.com, this means nothing, okay? Think of it like a speed dial. If you want to talk to Mike Meyers and I'm on your speed dial, you do MIK, and depending on how many mics you know, that might be all you need, and you see Mike Meyers, and you just press on that Mike Meyers, but associated with that, because you entered it, is my phone number, right? So DNS is kind of like a speed dial. Okay, so anyway, the problem is your computer doesn't have that IP address, and that's where DNS comes into play. So guys, I have big presentations on that here in this channel, but I'm just doing a quickie review because I want to make sure that we can understand reverse lookup zones, but first understand what a forward lookup zone is. Anyway, so let's watch a DNS resolution. Here I go again. Oh. I blame Will Shaw. This is all Will Shaw's fault. Anyway, okay, so what I got here, this is my local DNS server. Anybody who's typed ipconfig on your computer recognizes that you have at least one, if not two or more DNS servers configured. That could be entered through a statically, or it could come through a DHCP server, but you do have DNS servers, okay? So in this case, we'll just say there's one. Now, this DNS server, the way I'm showing it now, looks like it's local, and it could be local. In a lot of offices, you have an in-house DNS server, and that DNS server is helping you get to all the other computers within your network, okay? But if you've got something out of there, outside of your network, that DNS server is also important. So what'll happen is we're going to get a, whoops, doggone it. That was so cool. My mouse is acting weird. All right, heck with it then. So what happens is your computer queries your local DNS server, and your DNS server may know an IP address for that. So, gosh, I forgot to say the most important thing. The primary thing we do at DNS is, starting with a fully qualified domain name like www.totalsem.com, we resolve it to an IP address. So I've seen a lot of questions come in. Let me go ahead and finish this part of the presentation. All right, so now he can also cache. If somebody earlier on your local DNS server asked who was www.totalsem.com, he'll keep that locally. So if somebody else in your network wants to get to www.totalsem.com, it'll be a real fast resolution. Okay, so let's say your computer doesn't know who www.totalsem.com is. The first thing your DNS server does is he's going to resolve to a root server. There are about 16 clusters of what we call the root servers scattered all over the world. Every DNS request starts by going to a root server. Now we say root server and we show it as a dot, and people get confused with that. The dot is the top of the DNS tree in essence, okay? So if we look at something like totalsem.com here, there really is a dot on the end. People don't notice it, but if you get a chance, go into your web browser and type www.whatever.com it works fine. So the problem is that all web browsers in particular know to add the dot for you. Come on, just like a lot of people don't even type www anymore, it's the same thing. It's because your web browser is covering for you. So, but that dot is absolutely there. Okay. So your DNS server, your own computer is doing nothing at this point. The DNS server queries whatever root server it's connected to, and built inside your DNS server is called root hints, and it's a list of all the DNS servers, and based on response speed and whatever, it picks the closest cluster and gets an answer. So your DNS server goes, do you know the IP address for www.totalsem.com? And the root server is going to respond, and he's going to respond by saying, no, I do not, but I do know the IP address of the .com server. So the root servers only know how to get to your first level domains, .com, .org, .edu, all the international stuff. But that's all they know how to do. So your computer now has an IP address for a .com server. There are tens of thousands of .com servers spread out all over the world. And so they're geographically spread out to allow for faster speeds. And usually wherever there's .com servers are also .edu and .gov and .uk, and all those things are all in there. So now your web server, your DNS server, he queries the .com server, says, do you have the IP address for www.totalsem.com? He doesn't, but what he does have, come on, there he goes. What he does have is he goes, no, but I have the IP address for the totalsem.com server. So now your computer has the IP address for the totalsem.com server. Inside that totalsem.com server, there could be www and www.totalsem.com, timmy.com, mail. It just keeps going on and on, all right? There's a lot of stuff that goes inside a DNS server. We're not going to deal with that right now. So anyway, now there's the totalsem.com server, and now your DNS server queries the totalsem.com DNS server and says, do you have the IP address for www.totalsem.com? And he better have it. So he sends it back, and now your DNS server has the IP address for www.totalsem.com. Guys, you have all seen this happen. Anytime you open up a web browser and type in a new URL that you don't go to too often, sometimes if you watch closely, you can look at the bottom left, and it'll actually say, what does it say? Waiting for, or querying, or standby, depends on the browser, and you can actually watch that happen. Okay. The reason that your totalsem.com DNS server knew the IP addresses is because somebody configured something called a forward lookup zone. So forward lookup zones are the bread and butter of DNS. They can be configured as text files. In Windows, they're done through Active Directory. They're kind of cool that way. So they're done through dialog boxes. Whatever the case is. forward lookup zones resolve fully qualified domain names to IP addresses. Okay, and that's what we just saw happen there. So we started with www.totalsem.com and we got an IP address. We resolved an FQDN to an IP address. And that's 99% of what DNS does. I mean, the vast majority of the time, that's all it's doing is resolving fully qualified domain names to IP addresses. That's what it's for. That's what it does. But there is another. And this other thing is called a reverse lookup zone. A reverse lookup zone does exactly the opposite. It does exactly the opposite of a forward lookup zone. Reverse lookup zones, you ready? They resolve IP addresses to fully qualified domain names. So it's literally the opposite of what DNS is supposed to do. So why do you do this? Well, there's some real benefits to reverse lookup zones. Now, first of all, I'm going to tell you, I know that there's a lot of domains out there that do not even have reverse lookup zones configured, and they work fine for 99% of the stuff. But reverse lookup zones are really important for very specific things. Number one, they're used by tools, with tools like traceroute. Traceroute uses it. Ping uses it. NSLookup uses it. What is Elbow? What is this place? This is my home. You're at Mike's house. And this is the chair where many of the books I've authored were written right here. Anyway, so that's number one. That's why we use reverse lookup zones. Number two, it's used by mail servers to check for spam. Most spammers don't bother even setting up reverse lookup zones for their DNS when they're shooting all that stuff out. And it's not a perfect way, but it's a quick and dirty way to whitelist a particular domain, because you can actually see who the owner is and all that kind of stuff that is reported back. Pretty much almost all mail servers will at least do a reverse lookup to see if somebody responds. It's also used by like web servers and like game servers and stuff like that. If you want to see who's hitting on your servers, who are you servicing? Where are they located? Most of that geographical stuff you see and where you're getting information about the internet, probably the first place most people start is by doing reverse lookups on DNS. That's a beginning place to get a lot of good core information. And then the last one is what's called forward confirmed reverse DNS. And FCR DNS basically means is that I can query a DNS server. The DNS server does a reverse on me. I do a reverse on it. And it's just a sign of well-configured DNS servers. FCR DNS is kind of just built into DNS. The way I've got it written here, it looks like it's something special. It's actually not. Pretty much almost all DNS queries will go ahead and do a reverse, depending on time frame and lag and stuff like that. And it's just another way to get a little assurance out of it. Probably of all of these, well, they're all very popularly used. The third one, gain basic info on who's hitting on your servers. Man, I got to tell you, you'd be hard pressed to come up with a company that doesn't, even TotalSem.com. If you log on to TotalSem.com, I've got that IP address. I'm going to run a reverse lookup on it in hopes that I can get some more information about at least your domain, where you're coming from, that kind of thing. Okay. So a reverse lookup zone has a very specific format. And when you first look at this, it might look confusing for a minute, but bear with me, okay? So the format is you take the network ID and you reverse it. So if I got a 19.20.21 WAC24, we just spin it around. So it's 0.21.20.19. The only reason that's done, folks, is because a lot of DNS configurations will throw a bunch of reverse lookup zones on a single computer because they're not hit that hard, okay? They don't want to waste the time and energy on machines that are dedicated to forward lookup zones to also do reverse. And so there's all kinds of reasons like that. And especially if you have a lot of them in there, it just is a way to sort through them quickly. And then we add the phrase in-addr.arpa. I don't know where this phrase came from. It's been around since the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, and it's just because a bunch of nerds did it. And then you combine it together. So one forward lookup zone for the 19.20.21 network ID would look something like that. And that is going to be entered into, that's going to be a header for a reverse lookup zone. Okay? Now the other thing people ask me, they're like, hey Mike, if you've got, you know, with a regular DNS resolution, we have to go to the .root server, then the .com, and then the .totalsem.com and all that, right? So what do we do backwards? And the answer is there really isn't anything to do backwards because you already have the IP address. Because you have the ID address, you don't have to go to .com or anything. You just go straight to the server and you query it for reverse lookup information. That's it. Okay? So the only thing that's going to get you in trouble, I just mentioned that there's people, myself for many years ran a local DNS server without a reverse lookup. You probably can't do that anymore. There's so many things out there that people get paranoid if you don't do a reverse lookup, that you pretty much have to do a reverse lookup. So we got that going. All right, so let's just take a moment and let's see what kind of questions we have up to this point. Eugene McClure, can you add CSS LP Total Tester to the discount? Eugene, we have to have a book. Eugene, we got to have both we have to have a book and the Total Tester. But hang on, Eugene, we're going to do some giveaways. Reverse lookup zones, was that in the Network Plus? It was on the Network Plus. David Mohan! David! Sarah Perez Anderson, what inspired you to start your career in tech? It was cool. I liked it. It was kind of fun. I mean, a command prompt and, you know, and floppy disks and the, you know, EGA, CGA monitors, and the rest, as I say, is history. Sarah, I've always liked technology. When I was 3 years old, there used to be this kind of furniture called a telephone table. It's the furniture of your forefathers. Don't worry about it. There was a time when telephones were plugged into walls, and you had this thing, and you put this thing with a hello and a little rotary dial on it, and you would put that on a special table. And when I was 3 years old, I got a hold of a Phillips screwdriver, and I completely dismantled this telephone table. But it didn't fall apart because it was furniture was kind of stuck together. It's all this old press board and metal tubular 60s stuff. And my dad, my dad weighed a solid 500 pounds. He was very morbidly obese. And he sat down on that table without any screws in it. And I was 3, and I still remember my dad, oh! It was funny. You okay back there, Pepper? You okay? I was just making some noise. You know, it's funny. I'm not a fan of pit bulls at all. I do not generally like pit bulls. But I'll tell you, Lola and her sister, or her mom, Cleo, who's also around here somewhere, they're like ambassadors of American pit bulls. They're so sweet and lovey, and they're sweet with other dogs, and they're sweet with other cats, and they wear glasses, and you tie, you know. So I got to tell you, I'm impressed. I'm not saying all pit bulls are great, but I'm going to say these two are amazing animals. You're a lot of fun. You're also very athletic. You are very athletic, yes. And now you roll over on your back so I can give you some scritches. Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go off on pit bulls. Guys, whenever you hear me stall out like that, I'm usually just looking for questions. Bear with me. Steve G. Hey, Mike, your ebook and tester bundle, yes? If I buy it today for 50% off with my Enigma, is it lifetime? So, Steve, nothing we have is lifetime access at all. Steve, I forget. I straight up forget. I think it's like 180-day access. Andrew, can you find out for me and post it up so people know? Sure, blame the pie. Sorry, Will. Come on, Will. You and me go back. We were Nam together. DBT WizTid. Hey, is that a new... Oh, I do not know. Yeah. DBT WizTid, thanks. If you've been on here before, I apologize that I don't recognize your name. Luna! Kitty, kitty! Gaming with Bree. Hi, Gaming with Bree. Oh no, Bree, how you doing, man? It's good to see you. .nl, absolutely. L. Nelson. So the purpose of the root server is just to query the extension for your search. Yeah. Remember, the whole idea behind DNS is that we have this. We're having billions of queries per second. So by using the dot nomenclature with fully qualified domain names, we can take the heat off of a lot of stuff. And even the 16 root servers, those aren't individual DNS servers. They're big clusters that are connected to the fattest pipes on the internet, and they're spread out fairly evenly all over the world. So there's the answer to that one. Mohammed just showed up. Good to see you, Mohammed. Sarah Perez, 231. Hey, how do you convert a dynamic disk to a basic disk without losing any data or paid software? Is it possible? Yeah, you can, but there's a third-party tool. Oh, geez. It's actually a Linux tool. Super popular partitioning tool. In Linux, it has a graphical front end that makes it kind of pretty, and it's pretty good at doing stuff like that. I am embarrassed that I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head. One thing I can tell you about these guys around here, Sarah, is that if they haven't already told you what it is, you could do it. In general, though, see, when people tell me they want to do stuff like that, Sarah, and I'm not saying this is you, okay? I'm not saying this is you. Usually when people say they want to do that, I'm like, well, just lose all your data, you know? I got to tell you, a Windows system every 2 years just needs to be wiped. It's got to get the gunk out, man, the gunk. And I have no problem rebuilding a Windows system from scratch unless you have a lot of questionable software and you don't have the installation files. I don't know. Or sometimes we're just lazy. That's the other good reason to do it, Sarah. So, Don Odinga. Hey, Mike, what about the host file? How do you implement reverse lookup? You do not, Don. Host files predate even the concept of reverse lookup. There was nothing like that back in the host files days. You didn't do it. Host files could only resolve names, not even domain names. There were no domains back then. Remember, domain name service to IP addresses. Those were updated manually at 2 o'clock in the morning. Things are much better today than they were back then. L. Nelson, is there a command that's used in the command prompt for the reverse lookup zone? Yeah, ping, traceroute, NS lookup. There's lots of tools. And reverse lookup is not it's a database. So if there is a dedicated, I know that there is in Linux. I can never remember the name of the dang thing. Where's Alice when I need her? But in the Windows environment, which is where my brain tends to sit, there is no dedicated reverse lookup tool. William Jeske, any details about your participation in the RSA conference? Nope, no details yet, but stay tuned. Also, if we're not connected on LinkedIn, at least follow me on LinkedIn, because I'm going to be really. I use LinkedIn fairly often, but I've got a new marketing person who's been helping me out, and I'm really going to be looking at LinkedIn as a primary professional social media tool. So please look me up. It's easy enough to find me, and follow me on LinkedIn. That's going to be a really good place, especially in the future. Jared Graham, well-behaved pit bulls can change. They really are sweet girls. What are your thoughts on Network Chuck? Wonderful guy. I love Network Chuck. He seems to have your sort of style of teach. I love the guy. As a matter of fact, Network Chuck drops in from time to time. I should be doing more with him. I really look at him as kind of the next generation of instruction people, and I need to make more formal. We've talked, but we haven't really set anything up. If you guys know Network Chuck, please tell him that I am formally asking to connect with him more. I'll be glad to jump on his show if he wants to jump on mine, have some fun, that kind of stuff. Great guy. John, what kind of dog do you have? I don't have any dogs. I am babysitting for a friend, a couple of very sweet pit bulls. I have had dogs in my life. Most of the dogs I've owned were hunting dogs that really weren't pets. Lola, you're just a sweet pet. You're a pet. Here, put that here. Come here. You're not going to do anything. So most of the animals I owned back in the day were, they lived in kennels. And, I mean, you could pet them, but... G parted. Will Shaw and Mohammed, thank you. Yes, that's the answer. That was Sarah who asked that. You need to look at G parted. It's a wonderful tool. It's an old, well-established tool. It's kept well updated. Absolutely amazing. Hey, Mike, what Linux certification would you recommend for an entry-level sysadmin job? I wouldn't recommend any Linux certification. Now, you need to ask the question better, right? If I wanted to do a lot of support in a Linux environment, what would I look for? And LPI is good. CompTIA Linux Plus is well recognized these days. Any of the Red Hat certs would be good. You know, keep in mind that a Linux certification is really just kind of a way for you to prove to the world that you have at least a basic understanding of Linux. That's really all it does for you, which is a good thing. It's 2 years access. Thank you, Andrew. I had no idea it was that long. Jared, what's RSA? RSA is a security conference that's held in San Francisco. It's, you know, there'll be over 20,000 people there. It's a well-respected conference, and one that a lot of people I've been meeting lately want me to go to. Are you guys here? You want me to drop a bomb on your head? Mike Meyers, terrified of flying. Did you guys know I'm terrified of flying? I'm jumping on a plane. I am going to fly to San Francisco, and I hope I don't die in a fiery crash. But so I'm actually going to fly there. Lindsay Cray. Hey, Lindsay. I'm doing your course through LinkedIn Learning. It's awesome. Thank you very much. Gaming with Bree. I have a cold blue freezing icon head thing. Mike, can you explain organizational units in what? I can explain OUs and all kinds of stuff. I mean, technically, even DNS is based roughly on the concept of organizational units, the old X509 format. This stuff was developed a trillion years ago, guys. An Active Directory, okay, sure. What I really need to do first, though, guys, is I want to actually set up. No, I actually want to set up a reverse lookup zone. I've got a copy of Windows Server up and cooking. Let me get logged in over here. Why don't we do that real quick while I'm still thinking of it? All right, so let's go ahead and take a moment and set up a reverse lookup zone. Good Lord, it's 2:44. Guys, we're probably going to run a little bit longer. We're going to run over 3 o'clock today, so please bear with me. Yes, I'm going to be giving away free practice questions today. So let's go ahead and take a moment right now, and let's take a look at configuring a reverse lookup zone. Now, I'm going to be doing this in Windows because, again, I'm a Windows guy. But and the other reason I I love to teach DNS in Windows as opposed to in Linux because Linux is ugly and uses configuration files for like bind and stuff like that, whereas Windows is actually very pretty when it comes to DNS configuration. Now, folks, I have other episodes where we do a full-blown configuration, so the only thing I want to do right now is do a reverse lookup zone. Hang on a minute. Hey, you okay?
Yeah. Do you want pork chops with the bone in or no bone?
Bone in.
Bone in? All right, 2 of them, right?
Yes, please.
All right, bye.
Bye. Grocery shopping. All right, so anyway, let's go ahead and go through this. So what I got here, this is a copy of Windows. This is Windows Server 2016, I think. Oopsies. Yeah, this is 2016. And what I've done here is I've spun up the DNS manager that comes with this. So let me show you. So I've got right now the domain controller is called Mike's DC1. This is a virtual machine, guys. You can actually see it up at the top. And so first of all, I'm pretty sure I already have a forward lookup zone configured. And you can see in this forward lookup zone, I just have a couple of A records in there. Not much. This guy isn't really working very hard for a living. But like for example, if I wanted to add a new A record name, I'm going to call it www because it's going to be the address for the web server, and the address is going to be 10.0.2.50. I'm making this stuff. Whoops. Why don't I type a little bit harder? 10.0.2.50. And the reason I know that is because when I configured the server, I typed that in, okay? Servers don't use DHCP in general. All right, so I'm going to add that. Because I didn't set up reverse lookups. It's fine. Okay, let me go ahead and close that. Anyway, so if we take a look, it's not going to. What did I do wrong? Oh no! This is why we do our demonstrations. We practice them before we put them out on the. Oh, I typed it in wrong. Oops. No wonder it didn't work. There's my mistake. Sorry. It's not going to make... All right. Let's try that again from the top, shall we, kids? New A record. www. All right. And 10.0.2. Let's do 55 in case it screws up with that other one I have there. So I double clicked, which is why it gave me that PTR error, so I'm not going to sweat that. But now you can see I have an A record. And that's literally what a www record looks like. People think www is something magical. I could type in Timmy right here for my web server, and to get to my web server, you'd have to type timmy.totalhome.local. Folks, I use a .local as my top level domain because this is a domain that will never see the public world. Don't even bother trying to ping it. I'm buried behind 2 routers, but it's good for practicing. Okay, so let's go ahead and make the reverse lookup zone that associates with that. So you can see right now it's blank because I didn't make one. So action, okay, I really should have practiced this first. So they've got a zone wizard that comes with Windows. It's very convenient. So I'm going to make a primary zone. Remember with DNS is that if you only have one machine that's supporting that one zone, that can be a problem if that machine goes down. So you can have multiple machines, but only one of them is going to be the primary start of authority, and then the other ones are going to be behind that. All right, and there's some detail stuff. So I'm going to make an IPv4 reverse lookup zone. So the network ID is going to be 10.0.20. That's all I need to type. And then it's like update stuff. This is all Windows Active Directory goo. And there you can actually see that this is the properly formatted reverse lookup zone, and we've got one. So reverse lookup zones don't store tons of information in there. And it shouldn't. I mean, we really want it to be able to look at whatever is with my domain itself. You can't use reverse lookup zones, for example, to query individual machines. I mean, if you've got an IP address, you can ping them, right? But that's really all it takes to configure a reverse lookup zone, at least in the most basic format. That's as far as you're ever going to see reverse lookup zones on any of the CompTIA certifications that I'm aware of. Make sure you understand why they exist, and make sure you have a few examples of what they look like. Make sure you understand that you configure them on DNS servers. Just like you make a forward lookup zone, you can make reverse lookup zones. And really, that's just about it. All right. Mia Farmer Lyles, you're not, I'm not, yeah. So I actually spoke to my doctor, and I have some happy pills that are designed to keep me from trying to scratch the windows out with my bare hands. And guys, for the record, I have been flying for over 40 years, okay? And I mean, I've had a couple of bad flights, very few. I got to tell you, 99.99% of the flights I've had have been fine. Yeah, a little turbulence now and then. Turbulence doesn't bother me. I was in an L-1011 once heading out to Honolulu that lost an engine. We went back to LAX. I was on a Southwest flight flying into Milwaukee over the lake, and we lost our flaps. And it was a lady pilot. She was cool as a cucumber. She was great. The only really scary commercial flight, the only commercial flight I had that was really scary is I was on a little prop job called an ATR, and it was from Little Rock, Arkansas to Houston, Texas. And I was looking at a monitor, and there was a line of thunderstorms from Little Rock, Arkansas to Houston, Texas. And for some reason, like an idiot, I got on the plane, and it's the only time you guys know what negative G's means? Negative G's is when gravity had started pulling you down. It feels like you're going up. If you've ever been on a roller coaster when you're going over the top and you're weightless, that's a negative G. And it's the only time I've ever been in negative G's in a commercial flight. And I remember holding my laptop, and my laptop starts going, and I'm literally trying to hold my laptop down from the keyboard. There was a lady in front of me holding her baby. It was scary. But that was about the only really, I don't know what happened. I just got really scared of flying. Flying is incredibly safe. It's more safe today than it's ever been. When was the last time that we had a commercial jet in the domestic United States crash and anybody get hurt? I think it's been a long time. Man, when I was growing up, there was always 3 or 4 crashes a year. Wilshaw, yeah, I know. More likely does. I know all that stuff. The difference is, Wilshaw, if I lose my life on the way to the airport, I'm behind the wheel. So yes, I'm a control freak. Mia Farmer Lyles, how may I find the answer key? Mia, you're not even supposed to have that book. This is a big issue. Mia, send me an email directly, okay? Mia, send me an email to michaelm@totalsim.com. Unless somebody has given you other answers in there. But Mia, just contact me directly. michaelm@totalsim.com, and I'll help as best as I can. Don Odinga, Mike, in a nutshell, how does LDAP work? So LDAP is just a language, like saying, how does French work? LDAP is it's a lightweight directory access protocol. I forget what the A stands for. Who cares? So they knew a long time ago that they, being the elders of the internet or whatever you want to call them, designers of operating systems and people like that, that the idea of one computer having to ask another computer for data will happen a lot. So it became important to come up with some methodology that was well organized that would allow people to query other computers. And it was originally developed by, I believe it was called, was it Xerox? They came up with a standard called X.509, which was a beast of a thing, and it was really powerful. And it's not like they were writing for a particular program. They were like, look, we know that one computer is going to have to query another computer for data sometimes. So why don't we come up with a standardized way to look at that data and a standardized way for these guys to talk to each other? We don't care what the data is. The data could be usernames and passwords. The data could be the number of printers that are, one computer knows where all the printers are. The data could be a listing of root hints for DNS. Who cares what the data is? They didn't write this for a particular program. They wrote it as a, hey, look, man, because they're from California, so I'll talk like this, man. So look, man, so we have to, computers are going to have to query other computers sometime. So, why don't we come up with a way to do that? And that's where X.509 came from. X.509 was way too hairy. The only time I ever saw X.509 actually working for a living was with a network operating system of your forefathers called Novell NetWare, gone. But instead, a lot of people go, look, this X.509 is way too hairy. And they came up with a lightweight, that's where that term came from, lightweight directory access protocol, or LDAP. And LDAP's used by for example, it's used by Microsoft Windows. It's used as part of a querying methodology, where, under Kerberos it's used. It's used when you have two DNS servers. You have two Windows DNS servers, and they want to update because you've added a new A record, so all the DNS servers for the totalhome.local domain need to be updated. They query each other through LDAP. LDAP's used in it's used in so many things that I can't easily come up with something, because almost anything you can come up with is probably LDAP, because it's just a standard language. Just like with programmers, when they're querying their database and stuff like that, they almost always use SQL. When you're talking to different computers, you're almost always going to be using LDAP. In fact, that's where the whole Windows directories came from, because of that organization. Oh, somebody's asking about, I don't have enough time to do OUs today. Actually, but we'll see if I can't throw it in. Kevin Peterson, good Lord. Don O'Dinger, what were your thoughts regarding Windows NT? It was cool as anything. Don, I was a big user of OS2 back in the day when Microsoft was still writing OS2, and we looked at OS2 was going to be the thing to take over the universe. NT was like an afterthought. We never thought NT was going to take over. David Mohan, what happened to the short videos made on this channel explaining concepts? David, lots of stuff's coming down the pike here, and I've been telling people big things are happening for a while. They are anon, my lord. Let's do a quick giveaway, and then I'm going to have to wrap it up for today. So we're going to do a giveaway. Trying to think of something fun. This is going to be a quick and dirty. This is a competition for 90-day access to the practice questions of your choice. Earlier, somebody was asking for I forgot which ones they're asking for, and they're like, can we put that on there? Here, I'm going to give you a chance to get it for free. I want to come up with a quick and dirty. Okay, I got it. You're probably going to have to look this one up. So really what we're about to have is a competition to see who's the fastest at searching for something. So you might want to have your Google window ready. So I'm about to ask you a question, and the first person who writes the answer into the chat window to my satisfaction wins 90-day access to any of the practice questions that on the Total Tester site. We got zillions of them in there, way beyond just CompTIA. So, okay, so I yawn at the beginning, then my nose starts to itch at the end. Ha! It's a hard knock life for me. All right, so you guys ready? Everybody fingers ready to type in an answer? Here we go. Eric's Killingworth, OU, great football team. No, actually, Eric, it stands for organizational units. So here we go. I got a great one. It's real easy. What is the port number for LDAP? What's the port number for LDAP? That's all it is, folks. The first person who typed this in to my satisfaction is going to win 90 days free access. Go, baby, go. Oh, that was too easy. Doggone it. All right, it's too easy. It's too easy. Okay, it was too easy. You know what? It was so easy. I'm going to give away 2 of these, all right? Because that was too easy. All right, we have winners. We got winners already. All right, the first winner, and I'm going to do giveaway. You know what? I'm going to do better than that. We're going to do another competition. The winner is Cisco Rodriguez. Cisco Rodriguez, congratulations to you, sir. You have won 90-day access to the practice questions of your choice. Cisco, in order to claim your prize, you have to send an email to my buddy, Dave Rush. That's Dave R at Total7.com. In that email, Cisco, put your YouTube name, which is Cisco Rodriguez. Number 2, put your email address in the body of the email. But Mike, I'm sending an email. Just use the return address. Nope, won't do it. We've had trouble, so you got to do this. And then number 3, Cisco, just put in which exam you want. And congratulations to you, sir. You have won 90-day free access. Remember, we're a small company. It can take up to 2 weeks for Dave to get that to you, although he usually is very, very quick. So bear with us a little bit while we do it. Let's do it one more time. You guys ready? We're going to do one more giveaway. Here we go. One more. You ready? What is the port number for secure lightweight secure LDAP? What's the port number for secure LDAP? Shoot, I got to look that up. I was right. Yay! What's the port number for secure LDAP? And Cisco, you don't get to play again. Jared, you're hilarious. Sam show after doing it in binary. I can't convert it that fast. All right, so it looks to me like the winner is going to be Joshua Steele. Joshua Steele, congratulations to you, sir. You have won. Wait a minute. I'm getting. Shoot. I'm going to stick with that. Joshua Steele. Folks, we get different, just because you think you're first on the list, that doesn't necessarily show up on different people's things. So we had a little, in the back channel here, a little bit of a difference of opinion. I'm going to go ahead and give it to Joshua Steele. Joshua Steele, congratulations to you. You have won, what did I say, 90-day free access? Joshua, you got to jump through the same hoops. Joshua, I need you to send an email to daveR at Total7.com. Including there, be sure to add your YouTube name, your email address, and let us know which exam you want. And congratulations to you guys. Well done. Folks, that's all I've got for today. I'm going to have to take off. It is a little after 3 o'clock. We will be back on Monday, so be sure to watch. Keep in mind that Dave Rush will be on this Friday. Dave, right here on the Total Seminars channel, right here at 2 o'clock Central Daylight Time. So check out Dave Rush's channel. He concentrates on Raspberry Pi, but it's not a Raspberry Pi course. It's really a how to use Raspberry Pi to learn CompTIA stuff kind of course. I can't recommend it enough. Extremely great course. Please check Dave out on Friday. Other than that, I will see you guys on Monday. I love you tons. I'll see you then. This is your Uncle Mikey saying good night. Bye-bye.